This is a movie that has scared the pants off of millions of people. It's based on a true story. At first, people didn't know why there was a black dot in the sky until a girl took out her binoculars. Then she realized that a man was walking on a tightrope 10,000 meters in the air. There's no protection for him, and if he doesn't make it, he'll die. At the moment, the only thing that can save his life is a balance pole. When he got tired of walking, he laid down on the wire. He reached for the sky. Suddenly a white bird appeared above his head. Its bloodshot eyes seemed to signal his doom. If nothing else, an accident is about to happen. The story of the man's fate begins when he was 8 years old. Born in Paris, he grew up with a special love for tightrope walking, wrapping twine around to trees, one after the other. He started with 5 pieces of twine and slowly became a single one. Unsatisfied with this, he decided to try his hand at real tightrope walking. So he sneaked into a circus and climbed up to the top. Just as he was about to take his first step, he was discovered by the ringmaster. The ringmaster grabbed a shovel and was ready to teach this special thief a lesson. But seeing Philippe's outstanding acrobatic talent, the ringmaster took him under his wing. Salutation is the first lesson the chief teaches, to show respect and honor to the audience, to life, to the wire. But Philippe's flippant behavior made it obvious that he didn't take the chief's word seriously.
Salute the audience and pay respect. Il n'y a pas de spectacle sans public. Unless you understand that, you will never perform in circus.
Good, okay. Me, I don't want to perform in the circus. I'm not some ridiculous circus clown. I am an artist.
Before he could learn anything, he was kicked out of the team and started working on the streets on a unicycle. By chance, he read in a magazine that the World Trade Center Twin Towers were about to be completed. With just one glance, he became obsessed with this building, which was regarded as the tallest in the world at that time. Even the Eiffel Tower was 100 meters lower than him. He drew a black line between the towers. An unrealistic dream was born. In his lifetime, he must walk on a tightrope above the towers. His girlfriend, who also sells on the street, not only didn't object to his outrageous dream, but said it's your dream and you must realize it. Don't worry about people saying you're a crazy person, because I'll be that crazy person with you. His girlfriend found him to trees at school, where he could hang wires for him to practice on. Just as he was showing off his talent in front of his cameraman friend, the unstable wire suddenly fell off. This made him realize that the wire was hung differently than the twine. So he brazenly approached the ringmaster. But Philip was no longer a member of the circus, so how could the ringmaster give him his best excuse? But for the sake of his persistence and the payment of tuition fees, the ringmaster eventually agreed to do so. First, a layer of wooden board should be put between the wire and the pole as a buffer, so that when the pole bends, the wire won't be pulled off. Most importantly, never step on the wire until you've checked the device yourself. Listen to the wire breathing, feel the sound of the wire, and check that the wire is under the correct station. With the last of his savings, he was finally ready to go. The troop leader arranged for him to perform for the first time in a small village that couldn't even be found on a map. Tightrope walking is not only physically demanding, it's also a great mental test. Amidst the jeers and jokes of the villagers, his first performance unbalanced him.
Philippe!
Obviously, it was a complete failure. To save face, he turned to Notre Dame. Under the cover of night, he dived to the roof of Notre Dame, tied a fishing line to a juggling ball, and threw him to the other side. Finally, pulling the wire with the fishing line, he suspended it between the two towers. At dawn, when the first tourists arrive, his performance begins, walking freely around Notre Dame. This time he succeeded, not only in redeeming his reputation, but in getting his first taste of sensationalism. Though the next moment, he was arrested by the police. Then he moved to New York to pursue his ultimate dream. But the height of the World Trade Center Twin Towers had knocked him off his feet.
These towers, they've no scale. They just rise and never stop. It's not human. It's over. It's over. It's finished.
What's finished?
Is it cool? My dream is destroyed. Beasts. They just tell me it's not possible and nothing else. There's no sign of possibility. There's nothing telling me that it can.
While the workers were out, he snuck up to the roof and stepped onto the rails, cautiously walking towards the edge. Like an island floating in the air, he plucked up courage at the edge of nothingness and looked down at the breathtaking heights on the ground. A gust of wind hit him, and he hastily spread his arms to keep his balance. At this moment, he realized the true meaning of nothingness. A tightrope walker belongs to nothingness. Now he regained his shattered courage. Since he hadn't made a decision, he had to take action. His girlfriend shook the wire hard to simulate the incessant wind in the sky. The distance was too great to throw the fishing line to the roof of the opposite building. As a tow rope for the wire, my friend attached the fishing line to an arrow and started practicing her archery skills. When he asked the chief for advice on how to fix the wire, the chief asked him to put on a safety rope for safety's sake. Anyway, at a height of 541 meters, you're just a black spot in the eyes of the audience, and you definitely can't see the safety rope behind you. But for Phillips, it was a complete insult to ardent dreams. The leader of the troupe, although he didn't understand, chose to support him. He then refunded all the tuition fees that Phillips had previously paid to support his dream. With the startup capital, he disguised himself as various professions and mingled with the World Trade Center every day, prying into the workers' work schedules and the actual date of the two towers. However, he didn't look where he was going and stepped on a nail. But he didn't give up. The cover of his crutches made it easier for him, because he could only do it after the buildings were completed and before the weather turned cold. So he set the date for August 6, tomorrow, even though his foot hadn't healed yet. And for that, he brought in a bunch of his buddies. It's a bit of a crapshoot, but it's the only way to go. After all, for such a crazy plan, it's good to have people who can help you. They entered the building disguised as delivery workers. They stumble along the way, and accidents happen, although they managed to make it to the top floor with their equipment. But they were still 3 hours behind schedule. First, they found the fishing line shot by their partner from the other side. But when we were building the wire, the partner from the other side accidentally let go. The wire was too heavy and began to slide down rapidly. Luckily, Philip was able to secure the wire tightener in time. The wire stopped slipping and smoked the rails. He quickly cranked the puller, but the wire is still very slow to rise even. The other partner abandoned the plan and fled, leaving only the cameraman behind. But he didn't give up on the wire. At dawn, he succeeded in lifting the wire up, but just after finishing the last step, adjusting the wire to the right tension, a man in a suit suddenly walked up to the roof. He stared nervously at the man in front of him, not knowing what to do. But the man didn't say anything, pretended not to see anyone, and walked straight down the stairs. Even though he was now exhausted, he stepped onto the tightrope between the clouds without any hesitation. With a grave expression, he looked ahead, trembling and cautious as he stepped forward. In the eyes of the onlookers, he was as small as an ant, but after passing the first buckle, he entered a good situation with a smile on his face, looking expectantly at the opposite side of the building, slowly but steadily forward. As he stepped into the evening sunlight of the building, he succeeded in realizing his dream. Everyone was cheering for this small but great man. He Saturday on the edge of the building, looking in the direction from which he came, enjoying the deepest satisfaction in his life. Suddenly he thought of something and, to everyone's amazement, went back to the wire. Despite the fact that his wound had ruptured again, he got down on one knee in the middle of the wire. It turned out that he had forgotten to pay tribute to the walking wire, to the Twin Towers, to all the spectators, and to himself on the wire. More and more pedestrians are attracted to him, and they don't hesitate to applaud him. The man on the tightrope is about to walk back. Two policemen approach him. He walks on the wire without fear, smiling at the policeman in front of him. Back in the center, he did what no tightrope walker ever dared to do. He looked down to the ground and knelt on the balance bar, spreading his. His arms were spread wide, and he felt a calmness he had never known before. More and more police were coming. Now he seemed to be one with the wire, rubbing back and forth on the wire with light steps, performing for the police in front of him. Blocked from both sides, he confidently demonstrated his own stunts, clasping his hands to his chest and standing on the wire with one foot. And that's not all. Then he squatted down on one foot and Saturday on the slim wire. He even tilted his body back to lie down at a height of 541 meters. At this moment, the sky was his eyes, and the white clouds sang for him. A white dove suddenly appeared and made him realize that it was time to end this fantastic journey. But when he goes back, the rhythm is broken by the patrol planes in the air. His wounded foot even stained the sky wire red. He adjusted his rhythm with great conviction.
I can't end my work on a moment of doubt. With curved shoulders and hanging head. I decide. I will only leave my wire and my towers in victory.
With one hand on the back of the pole, he walks towards the building, but in the last 3 steps, his legs kept trembling and he seemed to have lost his balance. It turned out to be a little joke he played, keeping in mind the chief's teachings. After getting up, he handed the balance pole to the police as a tribute to his performance. Although he was arrested, everyone was shocked by his fantastic performance.
I gotta tell you, what you did was something. I know I'll never see anything like that again in my life. You got guts, pal. Good job.
When interviewed, he told the truth.
When I see a beautiful place to put my wire, I cannot resist.
The judge sentenced him to a free performance in the park for children because he didn't cause any harm, which, of course, was exactly what he wanted. The board of directors of the building not only gave him an unlimited pass, but also allowed him to write his name on the starting point of the wire, which will never fade away. In the days that followed, he often stood alone, staring at the nothingness before him. He said one should resist death, not follow the rules. There are some things that have no reason, but can make you want them for the rest of your life. There are some things that if you don't do them now, you'll never do them again in your life. This road is full of splendor, and it's full of mud. This life is full of pain and comfort. In your life, is there anything you want to do that's crazy? This story of a fearless man honors the bravest people in the world.